Last month, I was offered a very good, very stable six-figure job position, and I said no, something I never thought that I would ever do. But let me explain why I did that and why it ended up being the best decision for me. And this was an offer I didn't even really expect to ever get just because I had interviewed for that job, that particular job, like 2, 3 months prior to receiving the offer. And so when it had been a pretty long time since I heard from anybody that I interviewed with, an HR representative from the company in general, I just assumed that I didn't get the job and I moved on like anybody would. But last month, while I was at work, I got a call from someone in HR, and they told me that I should be expecting, an offer, a letter, a tentative offer in my email within the next few days. And I said, okay. And I eventually got that email, and it was a pretty good offer. The offer itself, the salary was somewhere north of like 105, $6,000, and that's not something that you scoff at all. Now the funny thing is, this is a job Now, the funny thing is, this is actually a job that I said that I've wanted for about 4 years now, ever since I actually graduated grad school. And I've applied for jobs like this in the past, and I just never got them. Now, I actually did some field work, some of my clinical work when I was back in grad school in a facility that was very similar to this. And I said, yeah, I can see myself definitely working in a facility like this, spending a long time in a facility like this, and letting this be my job that takes me, through my career. So I'll go through the process of applying for these jobs, getting denied, but just never letting that stop that from me applying again. And along with the pay, the benefits for that job were going to be pretty good too. Just the standard stuff that you look for in a good, stable job: the insurance, the benefits, the retirement, the PTO, and just stability in a city that I could definitely see myself settling down in one day and putting down roots for a long time. Just really all of the things that I said would actually make me stop doing travel work one day. And it's going to take a lot for me to actually want to stop the traveling work that I do now. Because I have a pretty good life right now. I have the ultimate flexibility. I can pretty much work wherever or whenever I work. I'm very stable with the money that I make. And for me to give up what I have now, it would have to be a very good job offer. I do pretty well for myself. I have guaranteed breaks in between my jobs. I can work pretty much wherever or whenever I work. I have that time off to kind of explore and travel, do the things that I want to do. And it just provides me with the ultimate flexibility. And that's a lot to give up for just any job offer right now. And I remember during the actual interview, when I was talking to the panel of interviewers, the people that were interviewing me about the job, I was listening to them to describe the job. And again, it sounded like a great job, like a great opportunity, but it just didn't sound like a position that I could see myself being happy or satisfied in for an extended or for a long time. Just the things I'd be doing day to day as part of the job, the population that I'd be seeing, the ability to continue learning or advancing within the company, the CEUs and the certifications that I would want to pursue. There didn't really seem like a very clear avenue for that. It very much felt kind of like a go to work, go home type of job. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with stability. There's nothing wrong with just knowing what to expect pretty much every single day. But again, for me to kind of leave the freedom and the opportunity of choice that I have right now, there'd be a cost. At what cost? And I never want to work a job just for the sake of working a job. I want to be happy going into work doing what I do. And it's work, it's a job. I know that every single day can't be 100% fantastic, but I want it to be that for the most part. And so obviously I took the time. I spent a couple of days thinking about the actual job offer. I made pros and cons lists. I thought really hard about, the life that I have right now and the life that I could have if I took this job. And it got to the point where I was thinking like, again, this is a good job, but this might not be the right time in this right phase of my life for me to take it. So the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking that I was going to just, turn down the job offer. But the longer I thought about it, the more I felt just very unappreciative for such good offer, I was thinking like, no one's job is 100% perfect. No one gets exactly what they want. No one has 100% good days at work. Who am I to turn down such a good job just because it's not what I thought it was going to be 100% of the time? And also, I think a lot of physical therapists can agree that the ROI, the return on investment for the amount of knowledge that we have, the amount of schooling that we had to do, the amount of loans that a lot of us had to take out, the ROI, like the job money, the salaries and the money that we're offered for these jobs just isn't very comparable. It's not really indicative of all the knowledge that we have. I love my job. I love my career. I love what I do. And I think we as physical therapists have a lot to offer the world. But again, a lot of these salaries and a lot of the money that were offered, because at the end of the day, it is a job, it just isn't really, it's not really comparable. And again, this is a super good job offer that I felt was very indicative of, what I do as a therapist, the knowledge that I do have. And I know that other therapists would have jumped at this opportunity, as they should. And also, I got to thinking about just the state of the world, the state of the economy, the state of the country, and how a lot of people are struggling, and how a lot of people just are working hard and doing without a lot of the things that they want. And again, I was thinking, like, who am I to just brush off something like this just because I don't want it? And these were all the thoughts that I was having in the process of thinking I should just turn down or deny this job. And I was thinking so much, and it got so bad to the point where I literally had to call a friend and just ask her, would I be dumb for turning down this position? And I rambled about everything that I was, thinking about, everything that I was going through, and the things that I was comparing the two jobs for. And after I was done, and I asked again, would I be dumb for turning down this position? And she calmly told me, absolutely not. You'd be dumb for taking a position you know you wouldn't be happy in. All because other therapists would jump at this position doesn't mean you should if it's something you really don't want to do. And that's really all I needed to hear. Just all the thinking that I did, combined with a really good friend's opinion that I trust, just let me know that, yeah, this wasn't the right decision for me at this time. In the end, what really made me turn down the job offer was it just wasn't the right job for this particular season of my life. And I recognized that. Right now, the flexibility and the freedom that I have right now are what's most important to me. And that's not really something that I want to give up right now. I'm very blessed and lucky to have the job security that I have right now while also having all of the choice that I do at the same time. I literally planned a birthday trip to Hawaii like 2 months prior just because I knew I would have that guaranteed time off, and I knew that it wouldn't be a problem for me to take that much time off of work. I can go and pick a state or a city that I've never been to and choose to work there for 3 months just to see if I like it, just to explore, just to see if that's some place that I can see myself spending an extended amount of time in. And I can do all these things while having that same financial and job security that, again, that a lot of people don't have, but I'm so blessed and lucky to have myself. Now, hitting deny on the offer letter and emailing the HR rep back at the time, it was hard. It was definitely hard. I definitely got a weird feeling in my stomach like I was still making a mistake. But the next day and the days after that, it felt perfectly fine. And when I think about when I think about the offer now, I don't feel bad. I don't feel nervous. And I knew that I made the right decision for me. I felt fine, and I don't regret what I did at all. And I would encourage or tell anybody to do the same thing. If you ever get an offer like this or have an opportunity like this, obviously, be practical, think about it, weigh everything, weigh the pros and cons. But in the end of the day, make the decision that's best for you in that phase of your life. Because for me, I knew that I was going to eventually regret taking a job that I wasn't 100% on board or happy with, regardless of the offer itself. But yeah, that's me. That's the story of me turning down a six-figure position to continue traveling. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. We'll see you in the next one.